Hey, Dina here. We just got back from seeing the Halloween sequel, 2018 Halloween sequel.
It was a spooky movie. I couldn't even make too many jokes about it. I loved it.
Yeah, I think we both liked it. Yeah, I wasn't sure what to think about this when I saw the trailer for it. Well, I should point out that I'm totally okay with them wiping the slate clean with the sequels because I didn't like any of them. So,
Not even Halloween 6, The Revengeing?
yeah, most people like Halloween 2 to some degree, but I really didn't like it, and I didn't like the twist about Laurie being Michael's sister. So I kind of liked it when this movie joked about that.
Oh, yeah.
So
they're like, no, that's BS. I know my Halloween lore, and you, sir, are incorrect.
Oh my god. Well, anyway, so yeah, I didn't have an issue. I thought it was an odd choice, but I was, willing to see where they were going to go with it. And when I saw the trailer, I thought it could go either way. So I wasn't sure if I was even going to watch it, but since it got like 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, which doesn't automatically mean it's good, but, it gives me a reason to give it a chance, I guess.
Well, I figured since Halloween is your absolutely favorite holiday and you love the original movie and this movie got positive feedback, I figured, well, that means somebody did it right.
Yeah.
So we went and we saw a pretty good Halloween movie.
Yeah, one thing I liked is that in the first Halloween movie, Michael moved a specific way and he was shot in a specific way, and the sequels kind of didn't really bother with that. It was just like some guy cosplaying as Michael, if that makes any sense. I for anyone who isn't familiar with my videos, a few years ago I did a retrospective on the movie and I talked about that and the sequels and everything, so if you want to know my opinions on that in a little more detail, go watch that, I guess. But
I must mention that my character is spazzing out right now because I must mention that my character is like really going crazy because he's like, we're on a laptop and the laptop is buzzing really fast because it's overheating because it's taking all of its little processing power just to run Face Rig.
Yeah, I was hoping I could set up 2 webcams and just have 2 instances of Face Rig to do this, but that didn't work, so we had to use a laptop for the second, and it's not handling it very well.
Oh, well, it's handling a lot better than I thought it would, so, yeah.
I lost my train of thought now. What was I saying? This movie actually captured that, Michael's, movements and how he's shot and everything. If you really pay attention to the first movie, you can't see Michael's eyes through his mask at all. But in the sequels, they didn't even bother trying to hide his eyes at all. But in this one, you couldn't see his eyes most of the time, and they did a good job with that. One thing that's kind of interesting is the guy who played Michael in the first movie, Nick Castle. He actually played him in this one, too. He actually came back. I think this is probably the first time he played him since the first one, and I think it really shows. They did a really good job with how they portrayed Michael in this movie. It really kind of lines up with how he was in the original.
I think I've only seen the original probably 2 or 3 times, but I do feel that this was a nice retcon to all of those sequels.
I know I'm in the minority, but I don't like any of the sequels. I thought they were all bad to varying degrees.
Halloween 2A. Wait, no, now it's just called Halloween. Wait. They should have just called it Halloween 2 Redo.
The sequel to Halloween, called Halloween.
Well,
I really wish they didn't do that. But
if they release another movie next year, they should just call it Halloween. Again, because it is Halloween. Why not? F it.
So since you're not as big a fan of Halloween as I am, I'm curious what you thought of it.
Well, it started out okay. Well, I know you disagree. I thought at first it's okay, this is kind of shaping out to be one of those Halloween sequels I saw that was not very good. But it quickly improved, and I'm like, okay, I like how it's shot at least. So I don't know. It felt like a really good movie all the way through. I don't know, but it was so good. I liked how it had some still shot scenes of or a continuously shot scene.
Oh yeah, that one really long continuous shot. That was really cool.
Michael Myers on a rampage. He gathered a hammer and then, spoilers, went to town. He leveled up, got a knife.
That's not too much of a spoiler.
Yeah, spoilers, he kills people.
Okay, well, I guess we ought to move on to the spoilers. So, so you recommend this? I take it.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's a very good movie. It's definitely not one of those really bad ones that you'll see on TV or doesn't have a Coolio or whatever.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Whoa, you can't use that kind of language, Dena. You're gonna get us in trouble with the YouTube cops. Please don't take us.
So, okay, yeah, I recommend it too. I mean, it's not like a great movie, but it was a good movie, and I liked it. And speaking as someone who really disliked all of the Halloween sequels, I actually thought this one actually kind of did the first one justice. So, I would recommend it. So,
hey, Dena, what do you think about the new Dr. Loomis? Whatever his name was, I just called him New Loomis. That's what Jamie Lee Curtis called him.
Yeah, there's a great bit where she says, "Oh, you're the new Loomis."
Yes, he's Dr. Loomis.
That was a nice bit of fourth wall breaking. So anyway, moving on to the spoilers now. So if you have any interest in the movie, don't watch the rest. If you have any interest in seeing this movie, don't watch the rest of the video. Just go and see it. But if you've already seen it or you aren't interested, keep watching, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's this one amazing shot. I could have mentioned this before the spoiler section, but there's this one amazing shot where it's this long shot that kind of follows Michael throughout. It's, Halloween night and everyone's running around and they just think he's some guy in a mask and he's wandering around, and there's a shot where you see his reflection in a window, and it looked amazing. It was very much like what they would have done in the first movie if they had a better budget.
Well, when he grabbed the hammer, I was like, power up.
Yeah, he leveled up.
Then he grabbed the knife and I said, power up.
Yeah, he leveled up.
Yep, he's at level 3 at that point. It's an RPG to him at this point. I think that's what Dr. Loomis was trying to figure out. What sort of sick pleasure does he have in this? And it turns out he's just playing an RPG or something.
Yeah, so basically, Laurie has gone all Sarah Connor, and she's been preparing for Michael's return. And she's got weapons, and her house is like a freaking fortress, and that was pretty amazing. I'm sure a lot of people will nitpick that that wasn't realistic, but I actually thought it was kind of awesome.
Was it realistic? Didn't somebody's head get stomped into a pumpkin, pretty much?
Yeah.
Michael Myers is not human. He has superpowers. He's a demon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He is pure evil.
Yes, he's pure evil. You must destroy him. And please, in the future, do not let a doctor with a voice imitating mine take over. It's Dr. Loomis. His name is not Loomis.
Oh, boy.
Man.
Yeah, another thing it did was it kind of messed with your expectations of who would get killed and who wouldn't. So there were some characters who you'd think they're going to be main characters, and then they end up being decoy protagonists, and they get knocked off really early. I was actually kind of glad about that because, so there are a couple of, they're not, what are they, journalists, I guess?
Podcasters.
The lady said the word podcast, and I was
We're
just
doing it for podcasts. In other words, they're doing it for a YouTube vlog. Uh-oh.
Yeah, who the hell did...
Uh-oh, who's gone in the door? Michael Myers, no.
Anyway, yeah, I didn't care for those characters too much, so I was surprised when they killed them off, and I actually felt a little bit bad at first, and then eventually I looked back on it and went, I didn't like them anyway, so it's just as well that they weren't main characters.
They were jobbers. They were like the farmer with shotgun in Dragon Ball Z's Power Level 5. So, yeah. They did.
Face rig freaks out whenever I take a drink of water. It doesn't know how to deal with that.
And they died in the loo of a really bad truck stop.
Yeah, that was a cute line. The lady had a British accent, and she says, "Where's the loo?" And the guy says, "What?" The restroom.
Very stinky in there. Even Michael Myers looked at the first stall and said, "Ugh, not going in there." Second stall, not in there either.
That was an interesting scene because that also happened in one of the other Halloween sequels. There was a scene in a public restroom where, although in the previous, I forget if it was, I just watched Chris Stuckman talk about it, and he said it was in H2O, but I thought it was in Halloween 4. But either way, there was a scene where someone was in a public restroom, and Michael clearly walks in, but then he quietly walks out. And it was this really tense moment. But in this one, Michael didn't just walk out. He fucked up everybody.
Oh, yeah, he went to town. It's very, very nasty and poopy in there. That's not a good place to be.
I'm glad he didn't kill any of them by shoving their head in the toilet. I was half expecting that.
Oh, no.
I'm glad they didn't go that route.
He doesn't do that. He just rips your jaw out and sticks a bunch of your teeth and throws them all over the place like a little jackass.
That was interesting. Michael's like, hey, look what I got. Ping.
Those are not experience points. Those are teeth. You can't redeem those anywhere.
So yeah, I actually like that Michael's kills were fairly, for the most part. There were a couple of them that were creative to the point of being kind of comical, but most of them were fairly straightforward. Like he would just stomp someone's head into the ground or smash their head against a wall until it burst open. But like mainly he just comes across as really strong, which makes sense for him.
Dana Cat?
What?
Does this mean that he's not the boogeyman, but he's actually the Tooth Fairy?
No.
Oh. Moving on.
What was I saying? Yeah, so like the kills were fairly straightforward. It was just stabbing and which I kind of like, because sometimes when horror movies get too creative with the kills, I should say slasher films get too creative with the kills, it can be kind of comical and feels like the movie's focusing on that too much. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just my thought.
I like the characters in this. It wasn't like the stereotypical characters like, oh, I can't wait till they die or something like that.
Yeah, the characters
were characters, but I mean, I was like, oh, I'm not too happy to see them go.
Yeah, the characters were reasonably likable. It's not like fucking Halloween 5 where everyone's a freaking asshole and
can't stand that kind of thing.
Yeah, they were. Although I will say that I felt like the comedy was a little bit hit or miss. Some of the characters tried a little too hard to be funny, but
well, maybe it was funny for high schoolers and we just passed them on, Dina.
Yeah, I'm sure that's it.
Well, millennials. Well, Texas Tigers lose 33-65.
So glad we learned about that in the middle of this.
Well, it uses the old music.
I feel like I forgot something. Oh yeah, it used it really well too. It didn't like use it all the way through the movie. I mean, it used it in the opening, during the opening credits.
Used it at the right spots.
And it basically goes away up until Michael comes in contact with Laurie again.
Yes.
So
Laurie versus...
Minor detail, but it's kind of neat how Laurie looked like Laurie. How can I explain this? So like Jamie Lee Curtis typically has, I mean, now that she's older, she's like rocking the gray hair, but like typically Jamie Lee Curtis has like short dark hair. And when I knew what she looked like normally before I saw the first Halloween, and I thought that was a little bit jarring. I'm like, oh, she has long blonde hair, okay. And but she actually in this movie, and then when H2O happened, it's like she was like Jamie Lee Curtis in her normal style. And then this movie comes out, and she actually has the same hair that she had in the first.
Except crazy and gray, and she...
I mean, obviously it's gone all gray, and it's a little frizzy, because, you know, she's older.
40 years is quite a bot.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of neat that she didn't look like Jamie Lee Curtis, she looked like Laurie. That makes any sense. It's a minor detail, but I kind of liked it.
Yes, I liked that she was crazy in the movie. Crazy like a pox. A red panda fox.
She was definitely overly prepared, but not overly prepared because she needed all that stuff. But yeah, I liked how she had her like cellar. Was it a cellar? I guess it was basically the Bat Cave.
Oh yeah.
The Strode Cave.
Oh yeah. When she opened it up, I'm like, I'm Batman. Jamie Lee Curtis's Batman does not sound too bad, actually. Better than Batman and Robin.
But yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis was great in this, of course. I mean, she was like the only thing I liked about H2O, pretty much. So I'm not even surprised that she was good in it.
Uh-oh. We're going to have to cut this a little short, Dina.
Yeah, your battery's running low.
I'm going to be running low, but you can still keep on running, Dina. I'm going to have to stop the recording. Halloween was a really good movie, and as someone that's a fan of really good horror movies, I guess this one didn't make me laugh too much, because this is the guy that laughed at the movie It.
Well, it was intentionally funny, though. You seem to keep forgetting that. You were supposed to laugh at it.
I was supposed to laugh when the kid's arms getting ripped off. Anyway, love the movie. Yay!
I was basically done talking too, I think.
I gotta stop recording so we can render it before it crashes.
Yeah, you can do that.
Save as,
I guess I'll keep talking. Well, you can keep talking too. You just won't have a face.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I wasn't sure how I felt during the scene where the guy who was basically an XP of Loomis, so he just kind of out of nowhere decides that he wants to know what it's like to kill. He wants to know what it's like to experience what Michael experiences. So he kills Michael and then puts on his mask, and I'm like, oh god, he's not gonna like replace Michael for the rest of the movie, is he?
It is I, Dr. Loomis, and I'm now wearing the mask. I'm Super Michael Myers.
And
Loomis.
And then he just like that's it, and then he just takes the mask off, and then Michael gets up and kills him, and that's it. So okay, technically that scene was kind of pointless and maybe shouldn't have been in there, but I was kind of
dumb.
Yeah, it was dumb, but it was dumb in kind of a funny way, so I still kind of enjoyed it, even if ironically. But yeah, I was just kind of relieved that it didn't go that route, because for a second there, they fooled me into thinking it was going to. Okay.
But anyway, Halloween. It was a movie with lots of absurd killings in it. And also, Dr. Loomis got head stomped and his face exploded, and then he made he hollowed out some cops and made jack-o'-lanterns out of their heads.
I can't believe I nearly forgot to say that. That was fucking nuts.
And then he also took the son-in-law of Jamie Lee Curtis and dragged him up to the second floor for no reason and stuffed him in the closet. Well, I guess he's like a hunter of sorts.
Oh, yeah, like he either put that there for Laurie to find, or he's just like, I need to put this somewhere.
For the lulz.
For the lulz. He did it for the lulz.
I guess. We never did understand him. He got set on fire in a fire trap, and that's not gonna kill him. He'll be back.
Yeah, there's a, not really a post-credit sequence, but like towards the end of the credits you hear him breathing, so that's kind of a nice little callback to the first Halloween. Speaking of callbacks, there were a couple of great scenes where I'm not going to mention all of them, but a couple of great scenes where they kind of mimic a shot from Halloween, but like they have Laurie instead of Michael.
Yeah, she got chucked out the window.
So, I don't know. When I see this movie again, because I know I'm going to see it again at some point, I might be a little more picky and I might have some complaints, but at least on my first viewing, I enjoyed the hell out of it, so...
I didn't look at any scene in the movie and go, ugh.
Yeah.
So that was a vast improvement over any Halloween sequel I ever saw.
There you go. So I guess that's about it?
Yep. It was a very good movie.
Yep, I liked it a lot, and like I said, I think we both recommend it, so...
Yeah, go watch it.
I guess that's about it for now. See you next time.
Bye. See, did it! Yay! We saw Halloween today. What a fantastic sequel? A re-sequel? A requel.
I thought I was going to start this, but okay.
No, it's yours. Go for it.
Wow.